Blast off, right? 3, 2, 1, blast off. We on live, George? You're live. Okay, great. Hey guys, I want to mention, just like the title says, we have a couple of brand new toys here at TMF, and I want to share it with everybody. We're going to be doing it live, but we're also going to be filming it simultaneously for YouTube and other channels, so watch for that coming up very soon. I'm going to start off, first of all, I got Kyle up here. Kyle, you mind grabbing a 10-inch? Kyle, I'm sorry, this is 12-inch CRB. That's the secret. The secret is now there's a 12-inch CRB. You see we have a 10-inch, we have a 15-inch, and you can also special order a 17 and a 20-inch, but they don't sell very often. Most guys go with a 10-inch or they go with a 15-inch, all right? But however, now we've got something right in between, and you're going to see it unboxed right now. Kyle is going to plug it in, and we're going to test it out. But before I do that, I kind of want to break down a couple of things that people run into with their CRBs. Recently, Ed and I did a video on how to maintain your CRB. The biggest thing you can do is keep your gears greased, okay? These are the gears right here. They're very strengthened nylon, and you want to just keep them greased. There's a white lithium grease. Look up that video. Maybe, George, you could put that in there. People can click and go right to it, right? All right, so you can buy this whole kit here, or you can buy the gears separately. But if you grease them, it'll keep the whole machine running cooler, and you won't have to worry about any problems, because a lot of times guys will wait 2 or 3 years, call up and say, hey, man, I'm having a problem. My machine is overheating a little bit. And I ask them, when's the last time they greased the gears? Yeah, I make some good money off the gears, but I'd rather you guys do the ounce of prevention, which is worth a pound of cure, by keeping your gears up. So the whole kit's available. Matter of fact, every part you need for a CRB is available. I realize that we're in a race against downtime. So I am constantly, because downtime's a killer, so I constantly keep a donor machine and parts on hand, just about for everything that I have. That way, if you guys have a problem, I can get it to you in a heartbeat. Come on right on through, bud. Come on. You're bringing lunch, right? We're filming live, but you coming right on through. It doesn't matter. For lunch, take it right upstairs to Rob. Got my son up there. No problem at all. That's what happens in live, right, George? Yep, they appreciate us so much, they're bringing us free lunch, and we appreciate them for doing that. All right, keep on working on that, Kyle. You're doing a great job there. Also want the straps off and the tray off, just so you know, so I can demonstrate. All right, well, let's get started, guys. What's the first thing? Well, we have this right here. This is called the modified tile tool, and basically it's a spinner. It has a temperature gauge on top of it, so you can see the temperature that you're keeping. And probably the coolest thing of all, now it has a nice sight glass, which is replaceable because, of course, it's going to wear out over time. But you can see what's coming out of it, and make sure you've got the tile nice and clear. One of the biggest problems guys run into when they are cleaning tile and grout is they end up not rinsing the floor well enough. They kind of clean like this, fast as they can go, back and forth. You want to take your time, flush it really well. Flushing is the key. It's not a matter of what goes on the floor as much as it is what comes out of the floor. And whenever you're using an alkaline like Grout Master or Frog Nasty or anything like that, when you use an alkaline can leave a little bit of residual behind if you don't rinse it properly. The key is just take the time, do a lot of rinse passes, and don't let it dry. Now that's the same principle on carpets also. You just can't see with the naked eye. So you know sometimes you get a call back, the customer says, my carpets are crunchy. Why are they crunchy? Because you left a lot of alkalinity inside the carpet, and now she's walking around and it's feeling crunchy. And that makes you really look bad. So make sure you flush it really well. You always flush your carpets well. You never let your pre-spray dry on carpets. You never let your pre-spray dry on tile and grout also. All right, so this is going to be a cool tool. It's also 2-inch, so you can increase the vacuum. So you have more vacuum, you have a temperature gauge, you have a sight glass. She's just bad to the bone. Keep that in mind. This should be up, both these items should be in the store. George's going to be taking pictures afterwards. Should be in the store this afternoon. So watch for that. All right. While Kyle's still putting that together, let's go over the setups a little bit. First of all, you notice in the 15-inch, you can get this little carrier. You can carry your brushes and a couple little attachments if you want extra brushes in there. Now this one is set up with the dolly on it and the wheels. However, I never use them, and a lot of guys set them in their trucks and they break them because they're just not careful with them. That's about the only other problem that we have with these things, because they just beat them up. However, it comes with a sturdier set of wheels in the back plate. So you got the sturdy wheels right there, And then you've got your trays if you want to go ahead and pick stuff up. However, when I'm running it on my truck, if you've seen in my YouTube videos, basically I keep a flat cover on the front and in the back. You'll notice I keep the wheels in the back. And some guys say, well, I mean, how do you push it around and stuff like that? Well, basically you can push it with those wheels, but I just carry it. I reach down here and grab a hold of it and I carry it. To me, it's a little bit more ergonomic. All right, so remember, the only two problems that we run into in the last, I don't know, almost decade that we've been selling CRBs is people don't grease their gears, and number two, they beat up the dollies. So we don't even use the dollies, especially if you have employees, okay? All right, they have a magic way of making little things happen that don't normally happen when you're an owner-operator. Okay, now we're going to go through the brushes. First, I'm going to start off with the different sizes here. You can notice we got them in the 10-inch, we've got them in the 12-inch, and then we've got them in the 15-inch. I just want you guys to have a visual so you can kind of see the difference in between them. So by having more of a variety of different sizes, you can go ahead now and pick out the size that fits you, your cleaning style, your business model, and your budget the best. I tell you what, I think I'm going to definitely probably try the 12-inch. The 10-inch might be leaving. The advantage to the 12-inch over the 10-inch is the 10-inch is a little smaller, so you can't clean as much, or you can't pre-agitate as much. However, there's just not a wide, but it's lighter, so that's kind of nice. I like it being lighter weight to be able to get around, carry around and stuff like that. However, you're limited in your brushes. You've got blue, you've got black or brown, whatever you want to call them, they're pretty close to both colors, and white. And so over here though, for the 12, the 15, the 17, the 20, you got a much wider variety. You've got the white, which you can use. Matter of fact, there's on our tmfshop.net, I'll just kind of read it right off of it. You got the white bristles, which are made for soft and very delicate. They're the softest bristles. So it's the darker the color as it goes upwards, the more aggressive the brush is. Then you've got the grays. Then you've got the blue. Now, almost all CRBs, actually all of them do, they come with the blue. The blue is the most standard color of all. And really, you can use it just about on anything except maybe extra delicate carpets. Don't forget to plug me in over there, Kyle. All right? And then you've got the greens. Now, a lot of guys get the green for tile and grout. And then if they've got a really good, and also you can use the green for CGD, which is commercial glue down on concrete. However, they have the yellow back over there. A lot of guys will use that. Now, some guys will go up and use more aggressive brushes, even for pre-agitating carpets. The only problem is, remember that you're creating more heat when using that on carpet when these were made for flatter surfaces and surfaces that it can kind of glide across, where it's not going to glide across that. So that can shorten the life of your machine. However, on the flip side, guys say, well, I like the more aggressive because I get a better and faster clean. So you might shorten the life a little bit, but you get a little faster clean. So there's a trade-off in there. And that's not always the case, especially to keep those gears greased and make sure that you grease them more often. Okay, so as you move your way up, there's a little chart on the forum. Feel free to take a look at that. Maybe I'll go ahead and throw that up inside the description, this chart in here, so you guys can see the breakdown. Actually, be pretty good, George. If you don't mind putting that inside there, inside the description, so people can see it. Also in the description, you'll be able to find the links for these machines and stuff. All right? So I think that kind of covers it. You do have your trays. Some guys like to pick up trays. You can see what's inside of them. The advantage to the trays are, some guys, as a matter of fact, will run a tray in the back, but they'll keep the flat portion in the front. Some guys run a tray front and back. However, I never run the trays both ways. If I don't want the little hairballs to show up, which I actually like them to show up because I can show the customer how deep it reaches down in there, pulls all that dog hair out that's after she's pre-vacuumed, after I pre-vacuumed, and I'm still getting dog hair out of the carpet if they have pets. Okay, so that's a good positive moment of truth. So I like showing that if you leave the flat trays on the front, the flat guards, you'll get all that on there. But another advantage to having the flat on here is you can get up close to transitions, you can get up close to walls. But if you want to pick up debris, just put the back one on, leave the flat plate in the front, put that on there. It's all a personal choice, however you run your business. That's cool. That's totally up to you. Now, let's move this machine a little closer here. And then, matter of fact, that's how Kyle set it up. So you put the tray in the back. Kyle, you want to put the front piece on here for me? We'll slide that on there. I just want people to get a good visual. Actually, you know what? You got that on there. You left it off there. It's fine. Put the cover on them. People show how easy it is. It just pushes larger part and just pull it over. It just locks in place. That's it. There's a little button in the front. You push the button and then you slide it back over and it'll pop right off. So that's how they all work with these little buttons. See the little button in the front right there? You push that little button, slide these trays off, slide your flat portions off, or slide your wheels off. So that's all the different configurations. That's the little problems you run into. And then you can get a cord, hook it up here if you want to. Yeah, we put it right in the front here for temporarily. Tie me a knot in this thing next time. It doesn't fit tight. There we go. That's what I'll do. As a matter of fact, when you're working with extension cords and you're at a commercial building and it don't fit snug in there, just tie a knot in it. Probably knot it right around the machine. Be kind of cool idea too. So if you don't know how to use these machines, it's pretty simple. All you do, push the lever in the back, lower the handle back, and it goes. Now in a minute here, I'm going to lift them up and do a comparison. I just picked up this sample rug. There's a flooring shop not too far from me, and I asked them when they've got some overruns to let me know. It's got a couple little wrinkles in it, but by the time I clean it and do some samples on it, it should turn out fine. This actually pushes really simple. That's impressive. Now let's feel the weight difference. Oh, this one even comes with a little handle. Huh. Somebody should have thought of that a long time ago. I like that. Cool. All right. So let's feel the weight of that. Weight of that. They're actually pretty close. George, do you know the weight of the 10-inch? Or why don't you go ask Rob up there what the weight is of the 10 and the 15 and the 12 if they know the 12. Could bring the scale over, that's too. Good Lord. 15 is kind of heavy. And see? They are? But that includes the box and all the materials. Everything is on there and stuff. So it's probably 45, something like that. By the time you don't have all the wheels, you don't have your tray on there. By the way, that's a good point. The tray. You should keep the tray on the machine. By the way, they all come with instruction manuals. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. But what's nice about the tray, it's got a Velcro on it. So it wraps around. The tray will hold when you lift the machine up. But what's the real advantage to a tray? If you take these brushes, right? You take one off of here. And you set these down. I'm going to go ahead and weigh them, Kyle. Just let me know what they are. If you take this right here and you leave this on and you put it back inside your truck, you will end up getting a flat spot. And when you get that flat spot, you get inside of a house, it's going to go boom, 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 all across the carpets. It's going to drive you crazy and it's going to look unprofessional to the customer. So you can heat them in hot water, soak them, and they'll come back into position most times, but I can't promise that. So when they're sitting in the tray, though, you don't have that problem. Matter of fact, there's a 10-inch tray right there. So let's put one in the 12 inches in a tray here and you see the difference. But see how it sits in the tray real nicely? That way you don't have any problems with that. The machine's made and designed to fit right on top of the tray perfectly. All right, let's grab one of these 12 inches here. And you see the size difference. There you are. So you got 12 inch there. Then the machine fits on the sides there. Oh, you know what? There's something nifty here I wanted to mention. Matter of fact, a lot of times I'll bring this up to the house with this on it, or I'll leave it inside my truck. But if I bring it to the house, I leave it on the front porch off to the side where nobody trips. I like to bring stuff out to the front porch so I know that I won't leave anything behind. Just keeps me more efficient. Okay, so now, if you notice on here, I'm going to bring this up a little closer, George. You see the little red alert right there? Once it gets down to this point, that's when it's time to change your brushes. So you've got this little marker, little set of bristles on here in red to let you know when it's time to change your brushes. And we keep all the brushes in stock. We keep everything in stock. What you got on that one over there, Kyle?
So the 15-inch is 42 pounds.
42 pounds?
10-inch is 32, and this is 34.
Wow, see? That's not much of a difference, is it? Wow. And yet you get 2 more inches. And I want to say something. Will you bring me a swivel wand out here and bring me one in a 12-inch and 14-inch? If you don't have one up our stairs already, you can look on the showroom floor. I got a couple. Give me a 12 and a 14-inch. Come forward just a little bit, George. And I'm going to show somebody something that a lot of people don't know. Come on in, guys. Lunch is here. Come on in. It's no biggie. We're live. Come on in. Y'all going upstairs, get your lunch. We'll be eating here in a minute. Actually, I'm getting on the road here in a couple minutes. So it's done. Welcome by. Go ahead. I want to show them difference, George, when you are working inside of a home and efficiency. And I think this is going to surprise somebody. Bring me the red, white, and blue I took off my truck. It's in there. See it there? In the 14-inch. I don't know if I've got a 12-inch in there. It don't have to be a swivel if it's not in 12 inch. Let's see if you got a 12-inch in there. No 12 in there at all? Okay, do you have a 12 upstairs? All right, take a look, see if you got one. All right, so this is the non-swivel you bought me, Kyle. Bring me the swivel one out of there. Yeah. But hey, I want to show you how light it is. Oh, and one thing about the non-swivel wand, this is pretty nifty, is the non-swivel wand, we've never ever had a problem with them whatsoever. I mean, they are bulletproof practically. Zero problems. Why is that? Because they don't have the moving swivel on it. And really, in my own trucks, I never have a problem with the swivel wands. Other people do. Why? Because they don't grease them. Just like the gears, they don't take time and grease them. So here's one off my truck I had for a couple of years. And you notice this one swivels, but it's got a grease zerk on it. So that grease zerk, take the time every 90 days and grease this. All right, that makes a huge difference. I've never had one fail if you grease it. Want to see if there's a truck out there? So as a matter of fact, this one's for sale. I'm going to be selling this, by the way. You want to grab me a 12-inch? I'm going to show people a little demonstration of something. But if you don't know much about a swivel wand, while Kyle's getting me a 12-inch, I want you to compare the 12-inch to the 14-inch. And we make a 16 too, but I'm not going to go there. You're going to understand when I do this in a minute. But what's nice about a 14-inch wand, I'm going to sort of swivel wand, is you can get right up on the furniture. See how flat it lays? So that's pretty nifty. And of course, you can adjust your handle. I like the handle up high as it'll go. You notice the one that's on the showroom floor that Kyle brought out here first. It was right about here. But I've seen guys went way down here, and they're cleaning like this. Just look at my back at what it's doing. You know, it'll just tear your back to shreds. So I never bend over when I'm cleaning. Look at this. Just like this. This is an assist handle, not a scrub handle, not a cleaning handle. It's just an assist handle. All right? And also you want to switch arms occasionally. Why do you want to do that? Kyle, all I need is just the head cover off. That's it. The reason you switch arms is because you want the even amount of wear and tear. A lot of guys will just do one arm and clean like that nonstop for years, and they can't figure out why they got back problems. All right? Or arm problems. But, you know, it makes a huge difference if you just take time. See, because your arm will tighten up here. Another thing about the swivel is it's very ergonomic. So the muscles in your arm get used all around instead of just one set of muscles or just one movement for the muscle. Here now, look, see I'm doing this. I'm getting even use out of it. All right, it's just very ergonomic. And then I'll take and switch arms. As a matter of fact, I find myself cleaning left-handed more than I do right-handed. And I can't even throw a football much past George left-handed. Right-handed, no problem, because I am right-handed. But you have to teach yourself, or at least I highly recommend you teach yourself to be ambidextrous. It just makes a huge difference. All right. Kyle's just taking the head cover off the wand here. We have all different types of colors: red, blue, green, black, pink. I can't think of any other colors. And sometimes we'll do some special orders or some special editions. And also, of course, the silver head. Kyle, hold this 1 second right here. I want just people to see the difference in the size of the head. So this is a 12-inch, right? I'll lock the head here. By the way, we put a lock on ours. And one little problem that some people do have is they'll keep the head locked sometimes. I find myself never locking the head. Some guys do, and that's fine. The problem is if you lock the head, hold your wand steady right there, don't move it. Let's suppose that is an edge of a piece of furniture. And you go in there, you hit this, then you're putting a lot of stress on that slide, okay, because it's hitting it. So that could do a little bit of damage to your little slide mechanism. So be easy. Plus, you don't want customers to hear that. That's a negative moment of truth when they hear you hitting furniture. You know, it just sounds bad when you're doing it. Now, here's my main point I wanted to show. Okay, what we've noticed, my brothers and I, when we tested it, they come in 12, 14, and 16. For every 2 inches that you add to the wand, you save 20 to 30 minutes inside of a home cleaning in a 2,000 square foot home. That adds up in a whole day. If you do 3 houses a day like we do, you're home an hour, hour and a half earlier because you're covering more square footage. So now you can adopt that principle here However, you're scrubbing just about every inch of the carpet, hopefully, with your wand, but you're not doing that with your CRB. You're basically just doing your traffic patterns, your transition points, your pivot points. Okay, those are the areas that are taking the big beating right in there. Rarely do I even take it upstairs unless there's a hall upstairs and it's really dirty, and I'll do the stairs with it. But you find out that a lot of times most of the soil is kicked off downstairs and on the stairs and doesn't really get up the steps. So that same principle is you'll get it done a little bit faster going from the 10-inch to the 12-inch. But there's a big fatigue factor when it comes to the 15. But a lot of guys still like the 15. It covers a large area. They can use it for residential and for commercial. Just cover more square footage. But then you have the 17 and the 20, which I've tried them both. Just not a fan of them. But if that's what you want, hey, we'll sell it to you, okay? But I find these are going to be the three most popular sizes. The 10, now the 12, and then the 15. When it comes to wands, though, you're kind of limited. If you've got a smaller portable, you're going to need a 2-jet, you're going to need an 1.5 inches, and you're going to need a 12-inch head, which is fine. It's still going to do a great job. They're going to do basically do the same thing. But then if you want to move up to a 14 or 16-inch head, you can get them in 2-inch. Matter of fact, the 1.5 inches now comes with a 14-inch head, right? Yeah, we have that in a 14-inch head too. So you can get an 1.5 inches because a lot of guys on truck mounts have smaller hands. And they just can't seem to wrap their hands around it. Let's put your hand up to mine, Kyle. I'm just curious. Kyle's a pretty big guy. Yep. My finger's a little bit longer. I got basketball fingers, you know. So anyway, being that this is a smaller diameter, guys with smaller hands can get their hands around it and they don't fatigue as often. All right, I've heard that complaint. But now that we've got it available in a 14-inch head, they can get the benefits of an 1.5 inches with a 14-inch head, and the dry times are very similar. So there you go, there you have it. So I'm gonna get you wrap that up, put that back away. I'm gonna look over, see if I covered everything. So remember, we have the super tile spinner, some of the features on it. You've got the clear tube in there so you can see what's coming out of it. Always make sure that you rinse tile and carpets thoroughly, okay? That's the biggest thing for carpets not resoiling, and also so you don't see a little bit of haze on your tile when you're using alkaline products. It's also got a temperature gauge on it, and it's got the more ergonomic handle, and it comes in 2-inch versus 1.5 inches. So we also going to have an 1.5 inches also, but at least you've got those options to increase your vacuum, to be able to see your temperature, and to be able to see that soil coming out of there. Just like our swivel wands, it's got the sight glass on there, you can see what's coming out of it. To me, that's a big plus. I love that. And then of course, adjust your handle up properly. Remember the size differences. Remember the difference between the brushes. Remember, the only thing that ever wears out on them for the most part is people break the dollies by being abusive to them, especially employees. No offense to employees, love them, got plenty of them. But sometimes employees just don't, they're just not as gentle as an owner-operator is. And then the only other problem generally is the gears, and that's because you don't keep them greased. George is going to put the link to the video in there for greasing those gears. Grease those things with white lithium grease, and I'm going to tell you what, you'll never hardly ever have a problem. Hey, you're probably wondering, well, why are they made in a strengthened nylon rod and not metal? The reason being is, even though it's got a safety switch on it, if you pick up a loose thread or a run inside of a carpet, it puts a lot of stress on the motor when you've got metal gears. And if your safety switch fails, it will burn your motor up. All right, so instead, that's kind of a safety feature. If you really stress the head really bad and you get it locked up, it'll burn up a little nylon gear, which is easy to replace, very simple, only takes a few minutes to change it, instead of burning up your motor. So it's just a fail-safe. All right, so that kind of covers it, really. I think I've kind of covered everything. I'm going to ask you, George, I'll leave anything out? You got your tray holder, you got different types of trays, you got your wheels, you got the dolly, you got somebody calling in. Remember, you got them at 10-inch. Oh, and there's only a couple different bristles that are available for the 10-inch. Remember that. So the blue covers just about everything. That's your standard brush, but don't use it on very soft fibers like some delicate wools, or you're going to have some problems. Okay, that's what you have white in here. Black or brown, whatever you want to call them, that'll be used for your hard surfaces, your thick impacted grease on commercial jobs, stuff like that. However, as you move up to the 12 to the 20-inch, you get all the flexibility of starting with the lightest color to the darkest color for the most part, and they'll be a little bit more aggressive. So you work your way up from the whites, the gray, the blue, the green, and then the yellow. Also remember, some guys will sacrifice the life of their machine slightly to be able to use a more aggressive brush to get those dirty traffic patterns clean inside of homes or commercial jobs. We don't really get that many dirty jobs because we've just been around for so long and our prices are so high, we've elevated our company to a point where we don't really have to worry about that as much. People just call us generally when they got a couple of stains inside the carpet. And to maintain the carpet, so we kind of trained our customers over the years. So there you have it. That's everything. Hope you enjoyed this live video. If you came in late on this live video or you have questions, I'll be glad to answer them. I'm actually leaving town, going back to Myrtle Beach for a little bit here. And if you have any questions, I'll address those a little later tonight. This video will be up on YouTube, hopefully today or tomorrow, depending on when my son can get to it. He's pretty busy. And then after that, the items themselves should be up by the end of the day today. The 12-inch CRB and the STS, the super tile spinner. So both those should be available by the end of the day. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, ring that bell. One more thing, George? And comment. Yeah, please comment. When you comment, that helps the algorithm and moves things up. Plus, if you have questions, I always go in there and I'll be glad to answer any comments or any questions that you might have. All right, well, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy all of our videos because why? Because we operate off the law of reciprocity. I believe if I help you become successful, you'll help me become successful, and I'm living proof of it. I'm Rob Allen with TruckMountForums. Have yourself a great day.